Why didn't he just use the wheelchair ramp to board the lady in the wheelchair? So there's a wheelchair passenger waiting for the bus, and the bus driver decides to go outside and pick this person up out of the wheelchair and carry her onto the bus.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
You know, this is a skit, so you can see how inaccurate it is, because right now he's standing on the portion of the floor that is actually the wheelchair ramp.
He ain't lying.
He asked, will it be the same as usual? And she said yes. So this is something that they do every single day. Instead of using the wheelchair ramp, he picks her up out of the wheelchair and carries her onto the bus. So now he sits her down in this seat right here. You see the seat that she's in? That seat should actually be folded up, just like the other seat that's right there closer to the window, because that area is designated for wheelchair passengers. You fold the seats up and there are wheelchair restraints, which allow you to secure the wheelchair once it gets on the bus. So now he goes back outside to get her wheelchair, bring the wheelchair back onto the bus, and now he sets the brakes on the wheelchair. He then asks, are you ready? Because he's gonna pick her up a second time, and this time he's gonna sit her in the wheelchair. And after sitting her in the wheelchair, he's going to position her legs, and that is just a lot of touching.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
So I'm an actual public transit bus operator here in Sacramento, California. So I drive the city bus.
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
And the situation that we just witnessed in this video that we just watched from Ken in real life, I encounter that daily. I always deal with passengers that have mobility devices, whether it's a walker, wheelchair, motorized scooter. This is a part of my job daily. So when I came across this video, which is currently going viral on Facebook, I could not believe what I was seeing. So before I point out everything wrong with the video, I'm gonna tell you what I did like about the video. So I do appreciate this content creator for making a video that's positive. And to be fair, this video, I believe the motives were 100% pure. It was to show human beings being nice to each other and going the extra mile for each other. However, since I am an actual bus driver, I have to point out some things that just make absolutely no sense in this video. And also, it's gonna create unfair expectations of us bus drivers to the public, because this video is going viral. And a lot of people are perceiving this to be a real situation, even though it is a skit. You will see what I'm talking about once we take a look at the comment section a little bit later in this video, so stick around so you can see for yourself. The first question that I have to ask regarding this video is, why didn't he just use the wheelchair ramp to board the lady in the wheelchair? That bus is clearly equipped with the wheelchair ramp, and you can even see the wheelchair restraints that we have to hook onto the chair underneath the seats. Let me show you how the wheelchair ramp works.
I'm not sure I'm interested in that.
So under almost every normal daily circumstance, we as bus drivers do not pick the person up out of their wheelchair, carry them onto the bus, sit them in another seat, go get their wheelchair, bring their wheelchair onto the bus, pick them up again, and sit them into their wheelchair. Why would you do that?
That is without a doubt the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
And I can hear some of you, you're like, well, Mr. Bus Driver, who doesn't like seeing another bus driver do something nice for someone? What if the wheelchair ramp was broken? Then you would have to carry someone onto the bus. No, we are still not supposed to pick a whole full-grown adult up out of their wheelchair, scoop them up, hoist them up, and carry them onto the bus. There's so many things that can go wrong in that situation, and I'm gonna tell you about them in just a minute. But check this out. If in some rare occasion the person needs to be picked up, we're not gonna do it on our own. We will have some help picking the person up. Typically, we wouldn't have to do that. Even though these ramps are mechanical, we can also operate them manually. That will be much more safe for the person in the wheelchair to roll on and off the bus on the wheelchair ramp versus them being picked up and carried on and off of the bus.
He ain't lying.
Keep in mind, every single bus driver is not capable of picking someone up and carrying them onto the bus. And that's another point. If you pick up one person, we would have to then pick up everybody because discrimination is not allowed and it should not be. We want to make sure that our passengers that have mobility issues, as well as the ones that don't, have a safe ride and that everyone is treated fairly. So as you can see in the video, the lady that the man picked up, she was quite petite. She may have weighed, 120, 125 pounds, maybe less, maybe a little more, but in general, he looks like it was not too difficult for him to pick her up. But if you pick her up, then you would have to pick up any passenger in a wheelchair that needs to be carried onto the bus. So if they're 400 pounds, you have to carry them onto the bus. If they're 300 pounds, 250, 180, no matter what weight they are, if you pick one person up, you will have to be prepared. Every bus operator would have to be prepared to pick up everybody, no matter how much they weigh, how tall they are. It does not matter. Or else it will be discrimination. You will be discriminating against somebody else because of their weight.
He ain't lying.
Let's swap the roles for a minute. What if he was the person in the wheelchair and she was the bus driver? Would she then be required to pick him up and carry him onto the bus?
Yes.
The point that I'm trying to make is that bus operators come in all shapes and sizes, different levels of strength. Same thing with the passengers. So every bus driver cannot be expected to be able to carry someone onto the bus. If you have a bus driver that's 125 pounds and you have a 380 pound person in a wheelchair, are we going to expect that driver to carry the 380 pound person onto the bus?
Yes.
Okay, let's circle back to if the wheelchair ramp is broken. Another thing that will happen is that bus will have to be replaced. These buses have to be ADA compliant, Americans with Disabilities Act. We have to have the equipment on the bus to allow all people, regardless of disability, to ride the bus. So as bus operators, we perform a pre-trip inspection before leaving the yard or the garage or the lot. But sometimes the stuff stops working while you're in service. It happens all the time. And that's perfectly fine. That's to be expected. But that bus that has a broken ramp, if that were the case, would have to be put out of service and they would have to put a bus with a working ramp in service. So another thing that could happen for this passenger if the wheelchair ramp was broken is they may have to take the next bus. However, the passenger would still be accommodated. This passenger is not gonna not get a ride. They will get a ride, but just not in the form of the bus driver picking them up and carrying them onto the bus. I've even heard of cases where they will send a paratransit van or send another bus just to serve that passenger in the wheelchair, and that's amazing. That's how it should be done, and that's a more realistic way that a bus driver and the bus company would go the extra mile to accommodate a passenger in a wheelchair. So now let's talk about a few reasons why it is incredibly unsafe for a bus driver to do what is being displayed in this video. So one, if you're picking up and carrying passengers like this, the potential for injury is increased.
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
Like, look at when he steps onto the bus and he tries to make that step right there. Dude, what if he falls? What if he trips? What if he misses that step while carrying this woman in his arms? Then she injures herself. She has to go to the hospital, and there goes an insurance claim or a lawsuit against the company as well as the bus driver. And then what if the bus driver injures himself? Since we are not supposed to be picking people up out of the chair when there is a functioning wheelchair ramp, the buses are equipped with wheelchair ramps. I know I keep saying that, but oh my goodness. Anyway, if this bus driver decides to pick the passenger up and carry them, that's outside of what we are supposed to be doing. That's outside of what we're required and instructed to do. So if that bus driver injures himself in the process of picking this person up and carrying them, they may not qualify for compensation when they have to be out of work due to an injury. Another thing is, this is kind of a sensitive subject here, especially in this case. It's a man carrying the woman. You can see he's touching her, like he's carrying her. He can accidentally touch a part of her body that can be considered inappropriate. There can be some sort of assault or harassment claim. You see he's touching her legs right there and all that stuff. We're not supposed to be touching people like that. There's not supposed to be full-on physical contact. We are not supposed to be touching and carrying people and moving people's legs and feet. That's not what we're supposed to do when we're public transit bus operators.
He ain't lying.
So another thing that he didn't do correctly in this video was he did not secure the wheelchair. He put the lady into the wheelchair. He did set the brakes on the wheelchair, but we're also supposed to put restraints onto the wheelchair to hold it in place. So the main reason that I really wanted to respond to this video is because there's a lot of people taking it serious and literal. And there's going to be people out there in the real world that watch videos like these and have these unrealistic expectations of people in my profession. They're going to think that we're supposed to be picking people up and carrying them onto the bus. You don't believe me? Check out some of the comments from this video. That's a gentleman and a well-raised man. Bless you, sir. The world needs more men like this. I love this in so many ways. What a perfect human. There are angels on this planet. This man has a genuine heart. God bless you. This guy's an everyday hero. Thank you, kind sir. What an awesome driver. God bless you both. Outstanding job, young man. Compassion for his fellow humans. What a great guy. I like this comment. How lovely he is. I love how he asked for her consent, even though it's obvious this is often their routine. My only qualm is, why is this bus not better accessible? As we've shown in this video, that bus is very much accessible. But a lot of people don't realize this is a skit. This is not an actual real life situation. Because then you'd have to ask, who was filming? Who was getting all these great camera angles? Even on his Facebook, Ken in Real Life, it says, hey y'all, I'm Ken, and these are in real life moments that have been captured and curated for your entertainment. And again, shout out to him for the positivity. I absolutely love it. So I've been saying a lot about what should not happen. Here goes an example of what should happen when it is time to board and secure a wheelchair passenger. Also, there are some extreme cases where a bus operator may potentially have to carry a person in a wheelchair. One of those extreme situations would be if the bus was on fire, it was filling with smoke. In that situation, the bus operator may not have enough time to deploy the wheelchair ramp. They may not have enough time to take the hooks or the securements off of the wheelchair. So you have to think fast and do your best to get that person off the bus so that they can also be safe. But generally, we're not going to be showing up every day picking you up out of your wheelchair and carrying you into the bus. We have a wheelchair ramp, we have equipment that will make it easier and safer for both parties involved.